And now, fortunately for us, he finds himself on this show.
Carl
Gunnarsson joining us here via FaceTime on NHL. Now, first of all, congratulations on an amazing career. We just talked at length about the win with the St. Louis Blues a couple of years ago. I'll start with the letter that you wrote for NHL.com, not something that every single player does necessarily when they decide to retire. Why did you want to express your thoughts and your feelings on your career when you announced your retirement?
First of all, thanks for having me. It was something that, when I announced it to the Blues, they said, they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I figured, why not? It'll be fun to get something out there, and I had a fun time writing it too, going through a lot of memories and stuff, but thought it was a cool thing to try out.
Carl, why is this the time? Why is the time right for you right now to step away from the game?
A lot of different reasons, but I think one, having a bunch of injuries in the last couple of years, and especially the last one I had there in February, and just going through another knee rehab, taking a long road back. It just, I guess that was like the last straw. It's been, I don't know, a lot of things going through my mind, but that was, the tipping point at the end.
Hey, Carl, you mentioned the injuries, 7th-round draft pick as well. You played a lot in Sweden before you made it to the NHL, and you end up having a terrific 600-plus game NHL career. Now that you can, I know it's soon, but now that you can step back and look back on your career, winning a Stanley Cup, what are some of the things that stand out to you in this moment?
Just looking back at it, there's been a ton of memories, ton of different stuff, and I think more of it will come back to after a couple of weeks here, thinking back even further when it all started, and back to the junior years and all that. But it's been great. A lot of people reached out, and like I said, those people just bring back all those memories too from before even making it to the show. So it's fun. It's been a hectic day and a half here, but it's been all positive, so it's been great.
Well, you talk in the letter about, not really thinking you were going to be a guy that was going to play in the NHL one day, and just sort of focusing on making the next team and getting better at this and getting better at that, and eventually, of course, accomplishing the dream. If you could go back and talk to your younger self, a younger Carl Gunnarsson, who maybe, I'm sure at some point along this journey felt discouraged, wasn't sure if he was going to make it as a hockey player, what would you tell a younger version of yourself?
Probably just, stick with it, and, good things are going to come. I think that was, even though I maybe didn't realize it back then, but that was kind of my mentality. I told someone today, see, coming over here, you got a ton of good players, and then you just got to find your role, do what you're good at, and then from there find success. Look at, everyone wants to be on the power play, whatever it might be. But looking around, we've had so many skilled players, and once you realize, I'm not fighting for the same job that or the same ice time that these guys get. You just find your role, find what you're good at, and just plug away at that and get real good at it.
Carl, I always like to ask players when they step away from the game, what do they remember about their first game? What do you remember about your first game pulling over that blue and white Toronto Maple Leaf sweater?
It's a lot of blurry moments, but I remember walking down, out onto the ice, looking up in the stands and realizing how big that was. The game itself, can't remember too much, but I think I had a good scoring chance in it, and that would have been something great too to get one in your first game. But I remember walking down the hallway and just looking up in the stands and just took a deep breath. I'm like, this is it. It was pretty cool.
Carl, I remember several years ago I was in your home country of Sweden for a little bit and spending a bit of time with Victor Hedman, and we were out one day and he was so excited because he was going to a charity event that Matthias Ohlund was going to be at, and Matthias Ohlund was somebody that he looked up to so much and had so much respect for. But when you look back at your career, who are some of the players, whether fellow Swedes or other players, that really made a big impact on you in your career?
I've always enjoyed watching Lidstrom. As tough as it was being back home, watching, with the time difference and all that, watching NHL games, always seeing those highlights with him. I think that was probably my best part of it, and my favorite player to watch.
Well, we got to ask you about the goal in the
Yeah.
Stanley Cup final. We were talking about it before you joined the show. You mentioned it in the letter. It's quite a story, and for fans that are watching right now that maybe didn't see that game, weren't watching that year, can you just give us again sort of how that all came to be and why it was such a magical moment for you, aside from the obvious?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, there we go. It's crazy. Like, I don't score a ton of goals. Hadn't had one in the playoffs before that, and to score, my first and only playoff goal in an OT in the finals, that's something you can only imagine, like only dream of. So it was very special, and then the whole story behind it too, how it came to happen, that she brought that to life after the game. That just adds a little extra flavor to it.
Yeah, that was quite a story with Craig Berube and you having that conversation in overtime there. And you'd hit the post prior to that. You said I think it was you needed one more go at it. You got it, and you put it in. So that was a terrific moment, and certainly that puts you in the lore and legend, so to speak, of the St. Louis Blues in that Cup run. Let me just ask you quick: what's the future for Carl Gunnarsson? What's the plan? Are you going to stay in North America? Are you moving back overseas? What are you going to be doing?
I'm gonna move back home to my hometown in Sweden, and in a month or so. So, getting everything ready, packing everything up, and then we'll spend our time there. Doing what exactly, I'm not sure, but just gonna take a little time off and relax for a bit, back off from hockey for a little while, and then who knows? I've got a feeling some doors gonna be open, and some opportunities will come, and I'm open to try things out here, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting to try something new here.
Well, that's the beauty of retirement. You can kind of do whatever you want. So congratulations again on a great career. Good luck with the move back home. You're going to get a ton of quality family time, which I'm sure you have missed during your career as well. So thank you for joining the show. We appreciate the time, and all the best.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.